Hello, my dear students, good morning. Students, let's start reading the next poem in poetry section. The next poem, this is the third poem, The Voice of the Rain. As you can see here, the title is here, The Voice of the Rain. And this is the poem is penned by Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman. Okay. So now, first of all, I think I should provide you a brief poem sketch here. Bete, the main theme of this poem, the poem which we are going to learn at this moment, relates to the main theme, universal theme of the cyclic procedure of life. Cyclic procedure of life. Just like the cyclic procedure of life, in this poem, the poet also describes the cyclic procedure of rain. Okay, he mentions it very clearly that just like the cyclic procedure of or the cyclic pattern of life, okay, the rain also takes its birth, and when the time comes, it also goes upwards to the sky, to the heaven, and then it stays there for a while and again comes back to the ground, to the earth, in order to wash out all the dirty things, in order to give birth to those all things which look totally burnt and dried also. So here in this poem, the conversation which takes place between the poet and the raindrops, tiny raindrops, a shower, little shower. So this the little shower is treated here, is considered here as the main character in this poem. The poet Walt Whitman has a brief conversation with the voice of the rain. The word voice of the rain, now we can hardly imagine how can the raindrops speak out the words, but the poet listens to the voice of the rain in abstract form, and he senses it that the falling drops of the rain from the sky say something to him, and he describes the same feelings of the rain, the same voice of the rain in his own language, translating the same voice of the rain into his own language, and the language which he uses is here English. So now the poem which we are going to learn, okay, is to be read by us very thoroughly, and I would like to suggest you to read the poem, okay, as I read it very carefully, so that you can also come to know about some important points and important poetic devices also, which we will see here in this poem. So bete, this is the third poem, and of these total 5 poems, the third poem is to be completed in this lecture. Okay, let's start reading the poem. And the first of all, as you can see here, the question is given. Okay, the rain is asked something about its appearance, about its nature and behavior, and who are the. It is an old-fashioned word which stands for here you, the, they. THOU, THW, THY. You, your, you. And who are thou? Said I to the soft falling shower. The word shower stands for here little drops of water, falling drops of rain. Okay, water. So the word shower stands for here falling drop of rainwater. Said I to the soft falling shower. Bete, when the poet looks at the raindrops falling from the sky to the ground, when the poet looks at the raindrops falling from the sky to the ground, he asks the raindrops. He asked the raindrops, which is collectively known as the rain. Okay, in collective form as a collective noun, which is known as the word rain. So he asks the rain because the drops of water are also the part of this the collective noun, the rain. And who are those? The poet asks the raindrops who they are. Who they are. Who are you? Now the poet addresses here the raindrops. Okay, but he directly addresses here the rain. So we can also use here the subject it. Who it is. Who it is. With strange to tell, give me an answer. Now the poet describes here through the second line that he feels it quite, he takes it quite strange. He takes it quite strange to mention the answer of the rain, to mention the reply of the rain in his words, because he can hardly think that the rain can ever reply to a person's question, but he gets the reply from the rain side, and as here translated. So now the poet tells us here that he finds himself totally compelled and forced to translate the reply or the response of the rain, which cannot be understood by each and every person very comfortably, very easily, unless and until it is translated into some other language, because the language of the voice, because the language and the articulation which the rain okay used while expressing its voice could hardly be understood by any person so easily except the poet. That's why the poet says to us that the answer which looks so strange to him is being translated by him into his own language, and this is the response as received by the poet from the voice of the rain. First of all, now in these two lines, what have we learned, bete? Through these two lines, we have been given a very clear-cut description of the little conversation that takes place between the poet and the rain. When the poet finds the raindrops, when the poet looks at the raindrops falling from the sky to the ground. So being so much impressed to the falling raindrops, the poet asks a very simple question. Okay, the poet asks a very simple question to the rain. Okay, who it is, what its real name is. So when the raindrops, or when the raindrops, or we may also collectively call it rain, listens to the voice of the poet, so it replies, but the reply which is given by the voice of the rain cannot be written in the because it is taken in the abstract form, and when the poet gets the reply of the rain in abstract form, so he finds it totally difficult and strange to mention the voice of the rain in any language. That's why he translates the voice of the rain into his own language, and which is written here in English. So this is the response, this is the reply of the voice of the rain. I am the poem of earth. Now the reply of the rain is mentioned here by the poet. So the rain replies, when the poet asks the rain who it is, what its real name is, so the rain replies that it is the poem of earth. It is the poem of earth in indirect speech. Said the voice of the rain. And if we want to translate it into, if we want to write the statement into past tense, then we can also write it in the past. But because it is a part of the nature, it is an object of nature. That's why you know it very well that no object of nature, okay, dies. That's why we can never write it in the past tense. We should always write it in the present tense. So it is the poem of earth. The real name which is told to the poet by the voice of the rain is here the poem of earth. Okay, eternal I rise impalpable. The word impalpable stands for something that cannot be touched. Okay, in abstract form. You know it very well when we read something about the abstract noun. So we always learn about the feelings. We learn something about the feelings, okay, of a person, and so many other kinds of notions and perceptions which can never be touched, which can never be seen, which can never be seen, which can only be sensed and which can only be felt. So here, I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal, the word eternal stands for here undying form, everlasting form. Eternal I rise, the poem, the rain also tells something about its cycle of life. And while telling something about its cycle of life, the rain says to the poet that it always rises, it always takes birth. Rise impalpable stands for here. It takes its birth quite secretly in the form of the vapors. I rise impalpable. Eternal I rise impalpable means the rain continuously, the rain never endingly takes its birth, okay, out of the land and the bottomless sea. Here are two places. These the two places are described as the birthplace by the voice of the rain, by the rain. So while telling something about its birth, the rain tells the poet that it takes its birth from the land or the bottomless sea, the great ocean, also in the form of the vapors, because the vapors can hardly be seen and they can hardly be visible here. So see, it says that it takes its birth, okay, quite secretly, sometimes from some other resources of water like the big lakes, like the rivers, and sometimes from the ocean, from the deep oceans, the deep seas and the bottomless seas also, so great oceans. And she never stops doing so. The cycle of its life goes on and goes on. The cycle of its life keeps running, keeps continuing. Okay, eternal I rise impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. लगातार मैं बगैर किसी को दिखाई दिए पृथ्वी जमीन के ऊपर के पानी के उन जल स्रोतों से और उस तलहटी रहित महासागर से अपना जन्म वाष्प के तौर पर अपना जन्म लेती रहती हूँ. बगैर किसी को दिखाई दे मैं जन्म लेती रहती हूँ, मुझे कोई देख नहीं पाता है. When it takes its birth from the bottomless sea or from some other water resources, including the river, including the lakes, rivers, lakes, and the waterfalls, etc., upward to heaven, soon after taking its birth, the rain says that it goes high to the sky. Upward stands for here, goes high. It goes very high to the heaven, means to the sky. Whence means where? vaguely formed, vaguely stands for bete not clearly, unclearly. Okay, upward to heaven after taking its birth, whether from either from the bottomless sea or from other watery sources on the land, it goes very high to the sky, where it changes its formation, vaguely formed altogether as soon as the water vapors, okay, reach the heaven, reach the sky, they get their position in the sky. These the water vapors, okay, meet there together and change their formation. Vaguely formed stands for air. As soon as the water vapors reach there, water vapor stands for air, the rain. The rain, okay, the rain describes its appearance in the form of water vapors. So the rain says that as soon as it goes very high to the sky, and as soon as it goes very high to the sky and reaches there, gets there, it completely changes its formation. Okay, altogether changed and yet the same. Though it changes its formation there while staying, okay, in the sky, but there it also remains the same. It also remains the same means there it can never change its name. Again, it is called there the rain also. It is also called there as the rain. Okay, bete. I descend means come down. To lave, the word lave stands for here, wash and bathe. Then the rain says, it is the conversation, beta. This is the conversation is going on between the poet and the voice of the and the raindrops. Upward to heaven, I descend to lave the droughts. It says that then it comes down. Having stayed for a while in the sky, in the form of clouds, it comes down to wash the droughts. The word drought stands for here, the dried things. Okay, atoms, the word atoms stands for tiny particles. Dust layers of the globe, the word dust layer stands for here, the dust layer stands for soily things. All the things which have been soiled, okay, covered with heavy layer of the dust. So all the dusty and dirty, okay, all the dusty and dirty things, layers, okay, are also washed by it. वो कहती है कि मैं फिर नीचे आती हूँ. आई डिसेंड मीन मैं आई कम डाउन, बरसात के रूप में मैं बरसात तो हुई, फिर मैं अपने बरसात की बूंदों के रूप में नीचे आती हूँ. टू लेव द ड्रॉट्स, सूखी हुई सभी चीज़ों को स्नान कराने के लिए, उनको नया जीवन देने के लिए. एटमी, छोटे छोटे जो लिटल टाइनी पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, छोटे छोटे जो कण होते हैं धरती के ऊपर, पृथ्वी के ऊपर जितने भी सारे छोटे छोटे जीव जंतु, उन सभी को जीव जंतुओं के रूप में नहीं कह करके, तो बाकी बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें पृथ्वी पर जिन सभी चीज़ों को पानी की आवश्यकता होती है, उन सभी के लिए लगाया यहाँ पर एटमीज. डस्ट लेयर्स ऑफ द ग्लोब एंड इट ऑल्सो gives a nice bath to all the dried and burnt things all over the world, spread all over the world. And forever by day and night I give back life to my own origin. And all that in them without me were seeds only latent. The word latent is hidden, unborn. It also explains that in the absence of it, okay, these all things remain totally burnt, dried and hidden inside the ground and everywhere on the land. वो कहते हैं कि मेरे आए बगैर ये सभी चीज़ें छुपी रहती हैं, अंदर दबी रहती हैं, और मिट्टी के नीचे इन सभी चीज़ों को इस प्रकार से दबा हुआ देखा जाता है. ये जली हुई अवस्था में दिखाई पड़ती हैं. एंड फॉर एवर बाई डे एंड नाइट आई गिव बैक लाइफ टू माई ऑन ओरिजिन. द वर्ड ओरिजिन स्टैंड्स फॉर द अर्थ. सो इट सेज दैट अगेन, following the cycle of our life, it continuously without caring for any time, because whether it is day or whether it is night, it doesn't matter. By day and night, I give back life to my own origin and make pure and beautify it. Again, it comes down to the earth from where it has taken birth, from where it takes birth or it has taken birth, and again it comes here to follow its duty very sincerely and makes it very purified and beautified. In order to make it very pure, and beautified, it again comes down to the earth from where it takes its birth. वो कहते हैं कि जिस ज़मीन से मैं अपना जन्म लेती हूँ, जिस ज़मीन से, जिस पृथ्वी से, जिस सतह रहित बहुत अथाह महासागर से जो जहाँ से मेरा जन्म होता है, वहीं आकर के फिर मैं दोबारा से मिक्स हो जाती हूँ, उसी में लीन हो जाती हूँ, उसी को मैं बहुत ज़्यादा सुंदर और साफ़ सुथरी बनाने के लिए फिर दोबारा से मैं आ जाती हूँ. इस प्रकार की बातचीत कवि के साथ करती है. फॉर सॉन्ग इशूइंग फ्रॉम इट्स बर्थ प्लेस, it also refers here to the song. It also explains its position just like a song. Okay, it also says that for song issuing from its birthplace, as we can see, when a singer sings a song, so the song comes out of the singer's throat after fulfillment, wandering, and when it touches the heart of so many persons, it is listened to by so many persons. But it doesn't matter whether the persons like it or dislike it. It doesn't matter. Care for it or uncared for it. It doesn't matter. Okay? Racked or unracked duly with love returns. Racked or unracked duly love return with love. Okay? So it means here the poet wants to say that whether somebody looks at it or doesn't look at it, somebody regards it or doesn't regard it, it doesn't matter, but the same song returns back to its singer. Just like this, the song which is sung by some singer, and when it comes out of a singer's throat, it leaves its origin, it leaves its native place. So it never cares for it whether somebody likes it or unlikes it, it doesn't matter, but it is the duty of the song that it comes out of the singer's throat and makes the whole environment, atmosphere totally purified by its impact. Okay, and then again goes back to its singers, and again returns. Okay, to its origin, to its birthplace. So, bete, in the third line, now let's start getting some details regarding the poetic devices. So, as you can see here, I am the poem of earth. In this line, you can underline it, and in this line, we find here the poetic device as used by the poet here, metaphor. Okay, bete, what is the poetic device here? Metaphor. So, you should underline it. I am the poem of earth. It is known as metaphor. Okay, metaphor. phor, metaphor. Okay, now in the second line here we can also find here some more words like this. As you can see here, bottomless sea, upward of the heaven, vents vaguely formed, altogether changed and yet the same. Droughts, atoms, dust layer of the globe, and all that in which is only latent, unborn, and forever by day and by night I give back to life. Okay, bottomless sea. Here the word bottomless sea. So here we find here the word bottomless sea, and it is in exaggerated form. Okay, exaggerated form. So hyperbole. B-O-L-E, hyperbole. अतिशयोक्ति अलंकार जो कहते हैं. Okay, बेटे. And the next point is here, we can also find it in the first beginning line, soft falling shower. It is used in an imagery. Okay, imagery. Okay, bete. So these are the most important three poetic devices. Okay, and the rain has been described here as a living being. So it may be called. This the poem is also connected to the poetic device. This the poem also includes one more poetic device. It is personification. Okay, personification. So now we can generally see here these three poetic devices as used by the poet here in this poem. So बेटा in the last देखो इसमें क्या कहता है, in the last line, बेटा in the last two lines the poet also compares the rain, okay, compares the rain to a song. So we can also find here the word simile, but here there is no direct comparison. For song issuing from its birthplace, here the poet has been compared to a song, mentioning making it clear that like a song, when a song is sung by a singer, it leaves its birthplace, and the birthplace is the throat of the singer, the heart of the singer, from where the song comes out. And when it wanders here and there, and when it reaches the ears of so many listeners, so it never cares for it. The song never cares for it, whether it has been attended, it has been listened to or not. It has been listened to or not. It never cares for it. ये कभी भी इस बात की परवाह नहीं करता है गाना कि मेरे को किसी ने सुना है कि नहीं, मेरे तरफ किसी ने ध्यान दिया है कि नहीं दिया है. And having fulfilled its duty very honestly, quite honestly and sincerely, it returns to its birthplace with due respect. Similarly, the rain also follows its duty. Here in this poem we also find it that the rain also follows its duty quite sincerely, without caring for it whether somebody regards it or not, whether it is regarded by someone or it is disregarded by someone. It follows its duty. First of all, it takes its birth, then it goes, and the rain always takes its birth in the form of vapors, water vapors. Then it goes high to the sky, then it remains for some time in the form of clouds. As you can see here, when we notice clouds in the sky, so we find that the rain, it might rain today. So then it completely changes its formation in the form of the clouds, and having stayed there for some time, it again comes down to its birthplace in order to give water, in order to give new life to those all things which look so much burnt, dried and quite hidden under the thick layer of the soil and dust. So beta, this is the poem. In this poem we have come to know about the long discussion which takes place between the poet and the voice. The poet and the rain. Okay, and here we have noticed that different three poetic devices as used by the poet in this poem. So now, if I think so that I should provide you some written material concerning to this poem, so then I would like to give you the details of this poem in my own language in the next lecture. Otherwise, we will start the next chapter, the chapter number 5th. Okay, it depends on my final consideration or final choice of the or selection of the topic, whether I select the explanation of this poem in written words. I think so I should give you some explanation. If you want to get it, so I think it will be better for you. I have to check it out. Okay, but no matter whatever, okay, will be given to you, will be taught to you in the next lecture. Kindly wait for the next lecture. Thank you.